welcome to another episode of Passing Time with Craig. I'm Craig McFarlane as always, and we're practicing social distancing, so I'm not in the same room, but I've got two wonderful humans, good friends of mine on today. Spencer and Siobhan. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Pretty good.
Yep. Spencer just pulled an all-nighter, working on like festival stuff, so he's sleepy.
Yeah, we've got you guys on because, all right, if we had brought you on at the beginning of this, do you think were you expecting this? The Quarantine International Film Festival just being what it is now, just boom.
No.
Yeah, no, like just flat out no. Had no idea.
Yeah, like we were excited about it, and we thought it was a good idea, but we didn't think we were going to get more than like maximum 50 submissions maybe, and we thought
you guys were gonna create your own videos too, right?
yeah, we wanted to make our own film, and that's kind of where we decided like it would be funny if there was a film festival for that. But yeah, and then we got really overwhelmed because we received like over 636 submissions from 54 countries, and it was a lot to go through. And yeah, we were just like thrilled with the response.
No, it's incredible. So you guys started, and you guys were the first, like, and you guys started off pretty early on into when everybody had to self-isolate.
Yeah, we started it like the day that everything started kind of shutting down. And yeah, like we're glad that we did because a lot of them have like popped up now, and but like I don't know, it's weird because like a lot of them have been popping up, but I think like it's definitely one of those things where timing was so crucial in like what was going to be the thing that like takes off in a it was what's going to take off in a pandemic basically.
And we also like we just wanted to make it accessible because we both lost our jobs, so we never wanted to make money off this, and like we weren't charging people, whereas like a lot of these other festivals that have popped up are charging people, and they're accepting films that like were made before quarantine, which is
right.
Like their own prerogative and stuff. But that's kind of the main difference with our festival is like we really wanted to focus on using what you have right now, and we didn't want artists like ourselves to be worried about money, because I'm sure they already are.
Yeah, because like I would never like assume like and we've like talked about this a lot. We definitely want to keep QIFF free like as long as we can for people to submit to, because it's like the fact is nobody has $10 right now to just throw into a film festival. So it's like it would have been crazy for us to have charged money like right off the bat, like nonetheless like now like
Yeah, and it's just, this is a way for people who want to create who aren't able to like they normally would, whether there be an actor, or director, or writer, or somebody who wanted to try a different category. Like this is the chance. Like, and what's fantastic is that this is what people will do. And this is, you think about whenever the world's had bad shit going on, two businesses that always still flourish because of creative people and alcohol.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, and that's the kind of the thing is like we wanted to encourage people because a lot of us were really devastated, like film. Yeah, we're both actors and filmmakers, and we both work in theater as well, and pretty much all the theaters, their seasons have been completely canceled, and Theater Calgary had opening night of their show, which also was their closing night. So it's really devastating when you work on something and you're just so excited about it and then it just gets canceled. So we just wanted to encourage people to stay positive and stay creative, and
Yeah, well, and that was a really big thing that we noticed right first day was everybody posting online like, oh, my show got canceled, oh, my like shoot got canceled, and it was just like all at once, and it was like, wow, these are people that we know would like to create something. And so it's like, if they would like to create something, can you imagine if other people would like to create something? Like, it'd be cool to facilitate an environment where that is possible. And it's cool that a community kind of got built around that, and that now people are excited for a second round, and like just eager to get back creating right away, which is awesome.
Yeah, and so the first edition, the theme was bear, and it could be, BEAR or BARE. You didn't have to necessarily say it. You had to showcase it some way. And so, what were you surprised by some of the entries for that? Like how people interpreted it?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. We had some really cool. One of my favorite ways that it was interpreted was there was this German film. It was written by this younger guy. He's like 22. His name's Vinuas Neuer, and he filmed the whole thing with his father in his basement, and it was called A Walk Outside. And his father actually won Best Performance in the festival, which was amazing, but it was also his very first time acting. He had never acted before, and he was so good, though. And the way that they interpreted the theme was, at one point, the character says, "Do you live beyond the Great Bear?" And it's because his English isn't as good, and so he's like, it's implied that he's saying Great Barrier, but he says Great Bear. And like, I missed it the first time we watched it, had to rewatch it, and I was like, wow, that was really clever how they did that. So there was cool things like that where it was like just the tiniest little way that they could incorporate something they did, and that was really neat to watch.
And so 54 countries were submitted. Were there countries that you never even heard of, or like just never even thought would reach?
Yeah, there were so many countries that, I mean, like, we've heard of them, but we didn't expect it to go that far. Like, we received submissions from Japan, Kenya, Kazakhstan, Israel. Like, it was so wild. We were so impressed with the turnout on this.
And it was really funny too, because apparently I'm completely terrible with saying words, because we were doing an interview, and I said, yeah, we got entries from Kazakhstan, and Siobhan corrected me and said Kazakhstan, and I said, no, we got them from Kazakhstan too. And then we went on throughout the interview, and I was just like so amazed at my own stupidity later on when I read the article.
Well, yeah. I'm not surprised or amazed by your own stupidity. Like, I've known you long enough to figure it out. So you guys got a committee together, which was fantastic, and you narrowed it down to top 40s, and then you guys just gave out the awards. So there's everything from the best in the different genres of horror, comedy, drama. You mentioned best performance, score, like screenplay, like everything was awarded.
Yeah. So we came up with a jury, I guess, an adjudication team of 5 people outside of us. They're all industry professionals. So yeah, like, we wanted to make sure we weren't just us picking, because we're like, I'm like 25. I haven't been working in the industry as long as these people have. So yeah, like, we got some really amazing people on board. We had and then we had some people in the States reach out to us and ask if they could be adjudicators. There's a YouTuber, Austin McConnell. He has over 1 million subscribers, and he just, when we first started it, reached out and asked if he could feature us on his video page, and then that's how we reached like so many people. Really, honestly, it was due to that. And then we also had a filmmaker from New York, Bruce Tetsuya, and he came on board. He asked if he could be a judge. He's been a judge for the Colorado Film Festival and a few other things. So yeah.
No, I think like it was amazing to us how willing these professionals were to get involved, because we were like, this is a big ask to be like, hey, do you want to watch a bunch of films and help us pick which are the best? Like that's a lot to ask, and so we were just like really surprised that they were as stoked as they were. But then yeah, like even when we did the award show the other day, they were all like, yeah, this is really cool. This is cool that this is blown up that much, and it's cool that it's I guess as meaningful to someone like that as it is to like a first time filmmaker, you know, like, and that's really, I think that shows the appreciation of like the art form amongst like the adjudication committee, and that that inspired, I think, both of us. So
One, so you guys are both filmmakers. You've had multiple roles, like acting, behind the scenes stuff. But so was it easy for you to quickly get into that like impartial judge mode, or was it something that you had to get it took some time?
I think that it was pretty easy for us to get into like impartial judge mode pretty quickly. It might not have been like the first like week, but after the second week, we started to just get like so many entries coming in, that it was like, okay, this is easy to go into like impartial judge mode now, because it showed us how festival curators really need to be like wowed within the first, minute, probably like within the
Yeah.
first minute of a film. It's
I
gotta,
would say like 20 seconds.
yeah, well, like
Yeah.
yeah, and like even that, like it's got to be like the first like 20 seconds, because if you have to go through 600 films, there's gonna be a lot of films that you're just slogging to get through, and if it's a slog to get through, it's not gonna make it in. So it's like, I don't know, it was easy to get to that impartial mode, and it was also really cool to I guess like get to see that side of something that like neither of us had seen before. Like we had both produced an act, but we didn't do that. I'm getting cut off, so
No, because I wanted to say that like I found it challenging to like to turn off. I don't know. I like because I just want to like appreciate everybody and like appreciate all the work everybody did, and so like I did find it difficult personally to pick between one film and another film sometimes.
Yeah, well, and it's tough because I feel like as a judge you still need to be like, well, I need to enjoy it. But if you are like, I just have a hard time really getting behind this type of film or this type of filming way, but you're like, oh, okay, but people do enjoy it that way. People do like it that. So like, I don't know, that would be very difficult to get to that point.
it is, but like I don't know. I also found like because the festival is about how creative you can get using the resources that you have, I think it made it a little bit easier because you would see something and be like, okay, well, like right away you could be like, well, that was not filmed in self-isolation in the past 2 weeks. You
Right.
filmed that before and you just submitted it because you found the link somewhere. So I don't know, that I think to me made it super easy to be impartial at times, because it's like, okay, if it wasn't made for us, then like, yeah, it's get out of here.
Get out of here. So we just started the second edition now, and so this time it's a Shakespeare line that they either need to say or incorporate some way, making it fairly clear, and it's listen to many, speak to a few. First of all, why did you guys choose that?
Well,
yeah, I don't know, like Hamlet is Spencer's favorite play, and we both love Shakespeare, but yeah, Spencer.
I think like it was mostly because that's kind of what we're doing right now. And so the thing is, no matter what type of prompt we could give people would somehow be able to like turn that into what is going on in the world right now, right? And at least that one, I don't know, it seemed like it was vague enough that people could run with it and do something completely different, just not have anything to do with like self-isolation or COVID, or they could just really hammer in that self-isolation COVID thing with that one prompt.
But also like we had a suggestion for this like there's a line, I think, in The Tempest about unicorns. And we were like, oh, that'd be funny. And then we were immediately like, I don't want to watch 600 films about unicorns. So, yeah. Like, that was the thing with the bear theme. Like, by the end, I was like, oh my God, I never want to see a film with a teddy bear in it again.
It's also awful because, like, now we'll be watching Netflix and just, like, watching any other movie, any other film, any other TV show, and I'll just, like, notice a teddy bear or a bear in the background and be like, they incorporated the theme. Get it?
They did. They should have submitted it.
Honestly.
Well, yeah, so I guess this would be interesting to see how people incorporate that. So the rules are fairly simple. Like, it has to be 5 minutes or less, include a 30-second trailer, and, like, be PG-13, right?
Yeah, and then also for this round, we have asked people, in addition to that line of dialogue, they can incorporate that any way they want. They don't have to say it, just whatever way. But we also ask that the story itself takes place in one location. So a lot of people have been confused about this. I don't know. So I clarified yesterday that what we mean by that is we needed some sort of stipulation like that to make it a bit more challenging for people. And also it helps us be able to pick out who actually was submitting for us. But we just needed a theme like that or something like that could also apply to animators. So we couldn't say like, oh, it needs to be filmed in one location, because animators can technically do the whole thing in their bedroom. And yeah, so the story itself needs to take place in one location, but that location can be as big or as small as you want. That could be your bedroom closet, or it could be like the ocean, or, you know, it's all about how you set it up. So that's our biggest thing, is it's like whatever you set up your location to be in like the first part of your film, that's fine. But we just don't want to see you in your, you know, if you set it up to be like in your bedroom, we don't want to see you then in the park.
Yeah. Well, and this one will be very interesting compared to when you first started, because, you know, there's a lot more changes that have happened. And when people first started, some of the people who could submit early or started filming early, it was a bit more, you know, kosher to kind of hang out and add some other people in. Whereas now it's really like, no.
Yeah.
That's something that we definitely like right off the bat, we weren't encouraging that. We were like, no, like, follow your local health authorities, precautions. Don't go gather a crew. Don't go, like, you know, literally make with what you have. And we day one
hadn't even been 24 hours.
Hadn't even been 24 hours. Had been like maybe 5 hours since we launched this. This guy, this grip at like 1 a.m. He's a grip on like some show. He like messages us on Twitter, and he's just like, yeah, this is a horrible idea. And we're like, actually, we don't really think it's a bad idea. And he's like, no, because people are just going to go and get sick and gather crews and get sick and spread sick. And I'm going to get sick and sick. And like, he sends us a novel of like 50 Twitter messages at like 3 a.m. So like, obviously alcoholic, but like, we were just like, we just didn't even respond, because it's like, dude, we have made it very clear in our rules. And if people decide to break that, that's a disqualification. Like, that's a pretty obvious, easy disqualification.
Well, we did respond to him, but like what we were saying, because this is an international film festival, so like we cannot possibly know what those guidelines are in multiple different countries, so or even regions. So it's not our job to make sure that people are being safe. That's kind of, it is something we want people to do, but like at the end of the day, I can't control what somebody else does.
Yeah. And
like, it's hard to disqualify somebody for that, but you know, like if somebody obviously made this, you know, beforehand or with a crew or with a budget, like, yeah, that's not really what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And also, like, yeah, if you know, we saw shots of Calgary and it's like kind of sunny out now, and the shots were kind of sunny out, and it's like 6 people in a park, would be like, no, like that's literally what we do not want.
Well, and you mentioned budget. Like people can use their cell phones. They can use their webcams like we're doing. Like use what you got, right? Like you can have everything in your apartment already and make something, right?
Yeah, like, and we're not judging people on the necessarily like the quality of their production, but what's been really amazing to us is like the kind of content we're receiving right now is just as good as stuff that's funded. And so I'm thinking like, wow, that's amazing that somebody was able to do this by themselves with no money, using like literally their webcam or their cell phone, and it's still like a phenomenal film, and you don't need a budget, you don't need money to make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you've got the passion, like it'll come, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also like helped inspire a lot of filmmakers that, you know, like and artists in general that have just been making art for the sake of making art for so long that they forgot to make art for the sake of having fun.
Yeah.
And this has been like a nice kind of door to open that you know, part of the brain back up, and to just have fun and create and not have the pressure around it. So I don't know, it's really cool.
Yeah, I would say it's been an interesting time because you have a lot of people. There's interesting people because you have people posting about like, oh, like, you know, you got these hard workers in the grocery stores that are still working. And then you have then they're like talking about how, oh, well, why are sports athletes and entertainers making so much money? And there's definitely something to be said about how much money some of these people are making. But with that being said, these are all still the same people who are bored and are watching movies and TVs nonstop and are missing sports and want to watch this stuff. So it's like, it's interesting. We got to find that proper balance. But this is how we're surviving. There's nobody who's just sitting in their house or apartment for the 8 hours that they're awake or longer and just sitting on the couch doing nothing.
No, yeah, and like, okay, I have a degree in drama, and I can tell you that drama is one of the oldest forms of like, well, entertainment and storytelling, but also just it's one of the oldest jobs that people have had. Like, so whenever people turn to us and or like make comments saying like, oh, you're never gonna make any money as an actor or whatever, it's just kind of funny.
Do they come out of flappers?
Yeah, I don't know.
They do.
I don't know, but yeah, like just the amount of times people have asked me, like they've been like, oh, what did you study in university? And I'm like, drama, and they're like, oh, and like, what are you gonna do with that? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, be an actor. So yeah, we're just kind of like, I don't know, I think that, you know, it is a nice wake-up call for a lot of people realizing like, oh, I actually do appreciate the arts and entertainment, but I also think that like people always have and they always will, and you know, that's the reason why Netflix exists. Like,
yeah, and we keep getting more and more streaming sites, and that's what people are going for. Like, you know, people always talk about how they don't watch cable anymore, but that's just because they're watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus.
yeah, and maybe they're not going to the theater as much, but you know, it's just things are changing, and people are still in need though of creative content, and they always will be.
Yeah, and you need that escape, and that's it's so important. So so if people want to know more and sign up for this, you guys are on all the social medias, and it's pretty simple. It's QIFF 2020, right?
Yeah.
And Facebook is Quarantine International Film Festival. Because if you search QIFF, I found like some sort of weird festival. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, the Qatar Food Festival. Yeah. We're hoping to get our website up this week. So it'll be quarantineinternationalfilmfestival.com or .ca. Like, we have both domains.
Right.
So,
and then people can just submit on through Film Freeway.
Yeah, so they have to find the link because Film Freeway does this weird thing now where any online festival, they don't want it publicly accessible on their website. So unless you like pay them money to have it publicly accessible, and then you still have to have a live event at venue in order to be listed. It's a weird setup. So they have to find our link on one of our social medias and then click on the link to get to it to submit. But we also kind of like that because that saves us from getting a million films from people that definitely did not submit for the or create for the festival. So
right. And then people can tag you guys on like Facebook and Instagram for behind the scenes photos. People can post that stuff, and they send you the trailer as well. And so they have till May 20th for the deadline, right?
Yes. So about 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. So you got to get to it.
yeah.
Have you guys had submissions yet, or?
Oh yeah, we've had some submissions. I have a feeling most of the ones we have already weren't made for us. So that's something like I don't know what people are thinking of because like they had to have found our link.
Yeah.
Through our somehow, I don't know. But anyway, so it's pretty obvious.
You're like, nice try, people. Nice try.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, you might have like followed the rules of the Corman Film Challenge, but you did not follow our rules. So
Yeah.
doesn't work the same.
Also, like we keep getting films about, COVID. And we're like, okay, cool film, not anything to do with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we got a nickel for every single film that was submitted that was like sad poetry in a room about the pandemic, we would be able to have prize money in our festival.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a tweet before, like as this all kind of started, this crazy world right now, and someone said, like, "Dear Hollywood, at the end of this, we don't want a bunch of COVID movies. Just make other stuff."
Yeah, I know. And like, I'm just so nervous for like that, even in like theater and everything. It's just going to be like, good God.
Yeah, I was messaging someone from one of the like theater companies' social medias in town, and like I was saying to them, yeah, what I'm really not looking forward to is all of the terrible plays that are going to come out of this. That's going to be blank and blank are social distancing together, but they don't get along.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, that's going to be the premise for dramas, comedies, like anything.
Horror.
Yeah, horror, every single type of play, that's going to be the genre for it. And it's going to be awful, and it's going to be overdone, and none of them are going to be good. And nobody is going to want to see that because we all had to actually live through that. So why even do that?
Yeah.
I'm also not excited for all of the stand-up comedy that's going to come out about self-isolation. I'm sorry. I kind of am, like, personally just not going to write about that at all because when people get out of this, I don't think anybody wants to hear, like, a bunch of white dudes get on stage and go, so I played with my dick 8 times during self-isolation. Like, it's not going to be good. And I don't know. That's why it's kind of nice to have this because we are giving people prompts that do not make them focus on what is going on right now. And that to me is I guess, like, for myself personally, it's good because then I'm not indoctrinated in this like constant cycle of just, you need to be sad and scared. You need to be sad and scared because that does nothing to help anyone.
Right. No, it makes total sense. And that's just it. There'll be some interesting stories, but I don't think we need all, like, that's it. So normally, as we're wrapping up here, normally I ask what you guys recommend for binging while everybody's doing this, but we can actually just go to the YouTube page, and you guys have all these submissions on there. There's so many from different countries, right? Like, people could just go on and watch them, and they can binge for a long time.
Yeah, and they're so watchable. We had this one woman from the CBC in an interview be like, is this content like actually watchable? And I was like, Yes. No, but like it is like I think people think like amateur film and they're like, oh god, like why would I willingly watch a bunch of shitty films?
Yeah.
But they're not shitty. Like they're really, really good, really creative and inspiring, honestly. Like I've been inspired to make things that I didn't even think of before.
Yeah.
And honestly, yeah, it's so easy to just go and like hit one of the playlists and just binge it. Because I think like the top 40 takes about 2.5 hours to get through, and the first time filmmakers takes about an hour and a half to get through. So that's 4 hours of content that is completely free. And if you go and check it out, leave a comment and give someone from around the world some love right now. And
well, and like we mentioned, they're max 5 minutes, and honestly, there's some mainstream mega blockbuster movies that should be 5 minutes or less. Like,
yeah. Oh, I agree.
The initial story is a great story for a 5-minute film, not a 2.5 hour long thing.
Oh, I agree. Everything is too long. Even like half the 5-minute films you received are too long.
Yeah. Don't stretch it out just to please. If you can do a great story in 30 seconds, then do a great story in 30 seconds.
Yeah, honestly.
One of my mentors always says, like, don't be precious. Don't be precious with your work. It's like, if it doesn't have anything to do with it, you got to cut it. It's like, it might look pretty, but why is it there?
No, and that's what's great about, moving away from, like, for television, moving away from cable to streaming sites is, a movie or a show's length is no longer that max 22 minutes for a comedy or 44 minutes for a drama. It's whatever they think works for that episode.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's something that is like really beneficial too about like just creators creating right now is like, I'm seeing a lot of stuff pop up on my Instagram of people creating long form in their apartment by themselves, and that's really cool. Like seeing like a web series that someone's creating where they are using what they've got, and so it's like like they're using their smartphone and pretending it's a vlog, and making it kind of mockumentary style. Like, I don't know, it's going to be really cool to see that stuff that comes out of this.
Yeah, definitely. This is a great chance for creative people. So if you're creative, the Quarantine International Film Festival 2nd edition runs till May 20th. Listen to many, speak to a few, one room, easy peasy, right?
Totally.
So make sure to follow them on Instagram at QIFF 2020 or on Twitter, and then Quarantine International Film Festival on Facebook for all the details. Yes, you young man.
Also, I just realized this is my 4th time on the show, and I did tell you I was gonna try and get to 5 before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well,
or the world now, apparently.
Whichever comes first. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, we also happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Trivia
dear
Daddy.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you guys. That was fantastic. Yeah. 30th birthday, a little different than the other ones, that's for sure. But, well, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you both. You're fantastic. I can't wait till we can actually see each other again.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hug you.
Oh, I know. I can't wait for that either. It's glorious. So check them out. Make sure to follow us on Instagram or Facebook at PTW Craig, and we will chat soon. Thank you, guys.